Welcome to the Notary Coach blog. My name is Bill Soroka, and this is how I earned $3,000 per month renting cars on Turo. Turo is like Airbnb, but for cars. And I know it drives Turo crazy to describe it this way, but it seems to paint the picture than even their own websites, quote, "Find your drive, explore the world's largest car sharing marketplace." On Turo, car owners list their vehicles for rent, so approved and semi-vetted drivers like you and me can rent them on a legit consumer-protected platform. I was introduced to Turo over 10 years ago as a solution to renting a car without a credit card. You can prepay for your rentals with a debit card and without deposits, so the problem was solved for me. As my mobile notary and loan signing business gained steam, Turo also helped me when I was in a jam with an automobile. Whether a flat tire, a breakdown, or even a breakup, renting a car on Turo was so easy, I could have a car at my doorstep in less than an hour. Yep, some owners deliver. As much as I am a raving fan of Turo as a guest or a renter, I had not seriously thought of actually being a host as a revenue stream until late 2021. And that seed was planted by a fellow notary. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but you know who you are, who came up to the stage of some clubhouse room I was speaking in and mentioned how many Turo influencers were out there dropping gems. So then I did what I do. I bought a book or two, watched some YouTube videos, listened in on some clubhouse rooms, analyzed Turo's terms and conditions, and then I jumped in. After all that research, I don't have a single resource that I can direct you to except for Turo's terms and conditions. Everything else I encountered was either poor quality, it lacked content, or it was just a teaser to get readers and viewers with just enough info to lead you into buying a course. That kind of stuff drives me nuts. So a lot of this I did from my own research, and I call it my Turo experiment. I learned a lot, and overall, I totally enjoyed it. Turo has been one of my favorite side hustles yet. And it's not for everyone. If you have any kind of emotional attachment to your car, this may not be the right fit for you. People will never take care of your car the way that you do. If you have a low risk tolerance, this probably isn't for you. There is an inherent risk in all businesses and investments, and when they're moving 80 miles an hour on roadways, that risk seems to be increased. If you're not interested in going the extra mile for your guests, this probably won't work out for you. Success is heavily driven by ratings and reviews. But if you're intrigued and want to check it out, read on. I'll share my thoughts on the strategy, who I ran it by first, and how it contributed to my success. The Turo experiment. I've been aggressively saving to invest for several years, and I love to dabble or tinker with a variety of projects that will either change the world or an industry, fascinate me, or pay me. Hopefully, all three. Intrigued with what I was learning about Turo, I asked my CFO what he thought about my strategy idea. 1, use cash to buy a quality car for less than $20,000. 2, earn $800 to $1,200 a month in rental cash flow. 3, that would mean that only 25 months to recoup that original investment. He ran the numbers, beats leaving it sitting in the bank. Buy 10 of them, he said. Now, I love getting a little crazy with my ideas, but buying and managing a fleet of 10 cars was pushing it. So I bought 2, plus my personal vehicle. And it worked. My Turo fleet. I think the coolest feature Turo offers is their calculator. It's an online tool that will help you see an estimate of the revenue Turo thinks your car or your prospective car will generate in your area. There are Turo experts, far more advanced than me, that think the data from this tool is skewed a bit, but for me, it was right on the money. This helped me get a feel for what my personal vehicle, a 2019 Toyota 4Runner, would fetch. Now, my next step was to find a daily runner that was reliable, cheap, good on gas, and maybe even fun to drive. I guess I'm kind of old school because anytime I think of buying a car, I still go to Craigslist. And that's where I found Lucy, a cherry red 2013 Fiat 500 for $10,000. She was clean, clear title, pristine condition, and had less than 30,000 miles. As I was picking Lucy up at the dealership in Scottsdale, a nice lady came in and tried to sell her 2014 Mini Cooper Countryman to them. They lowballed her, and I followed her to the parking lot and offered her $1,000 more for a total of $14,000. Now, the blue book was $19,000 to $22,000, and she accepted. Whim, bam, boom. I had a Turo fleet using just $24,000 of reserve cash, plus the cost of my own vehicle, but of course, I'd already spent that anyway. Insurance stuff. You're probably wondering how the insurance works with Turo. They partner with a major insurance company to provide a liability policy on every rental. Still, in following the Facebook group feeds, I can tell this is a really gray area because sometimes your personal insurance company will not allow you to rent out your cars. Now, some insurance companies don't care. And if you decide to turn this into a real business enterprise, there's actually commercial insurance policies you can get. Now, I never had a problem with a guest with a car accident or theft, so I don't have any experience to speak from. This is where your due diligence will come in. Advice for enjoying Turo and making some money. Hosting on Turo has been one of my favorite side hustle adventures ever. While new and innovative from a technology and convenience economy standpoint, there's also something kind of old-fashioned about it. Rent it, meet cool people, get paid, clean it, repeat. I used to just get a thrill out of having back-to-back rentals, hearing those rings and dings come through on the Turo app and getting another 5-star review. If I had not moved across the country, to an island no less, I'd still be an all-star Turo host. Not only did my fleet generate a minimum of $3,000 per month on average, but when I decided to move, I was able to sell the vehicles for almost exactly what I paid for them. Even with a little bit of maintenance, 2 new windshields, and a lot of car washes, this has been a huge return on investment for me. Here are some suggestions for those who are curious to embark on their own Turo experiment. Read Turo's terms and conditions first. Not everything will make sense, but this will give you a foundation to move forward on, including rules for the vehicle age, mileage, etc. Before you make any major cash investments, use the calculator to see what's possible with your current car or an extra one in your area. Without a doubt, being near a large airport, having Uber, Lyft available, and being a destination location makes a huge difference in revenue. That said, I still see people all over the country, even in small towns, having success with Turo. Get some advice, financial or otherwise. There are lots of Turo owner Facebook groups, some state or city specific too. These are usually unofficial groups, so beware. Some groups are friendly and others, they aren't. Do whatever you can to get all-star host status as soon as possible, even if it means lowering your price for the first 10 reservations or so. This status has requirements, but when it's achieved, it makes all the difference. This is where you go above and beyond, and it really comes into play. Take high-quality pictures of the exterior and interior. Get creative and have a nice background. If you've taken your cars on adventures, use those pictures too. This is part of marketing. I believe Turo allows 20 photos. Use every one of those opportunities to highlight your vehicle. Treat your car's profile like a dating profile. Spend the extra time on the front end of this. I named all 3 of my cars, Lucy, Hank the Mini Tank, and the Side Hustle Wagon. And then I used words and descriptions that gave the car's personality. This did 2 things for me. It attracted guests that appreciated that level of interaction, and My guests, for the most part, took excellent care of my cars. A few of them even took my vehicles to be detailed because they loved driving them so much. Over communicate with your guest. Turo has a chat function so you can stay connected with your guests even before they arrive. I used my own personal experience with Turo to enhance my communication levels. I remember how stressful it is when you get to an airport that you're not too familiar with and you have to find an Uber or a car parked in some parking lot. Then you have to fumble with an app that you're likely not too familiar with to find the vehicle access information. And even though the app has an instruction area, I touch base on the reservation date and I wish them safe travels or just let them know that all is well and I am ready for them. Then I may send the vehicle pickup and access instructions again in the chat window. Upon return, I'm going to thank them, ask them for a review. Here's the thing. I had 83 trips completed and I received 78 reviews. And finally, be nice to people and come to peace with renting your car out to total strangers. They're not going to take care of it to your standards. They are probably going to speed. They're going to eat and spill in it. They're going to smoke weed in it. They will be late, and sometimes they'll even be a week early. Had that happen once. A couple of other things to mention. Turo hosts can control a lot of the boundaries surrounding rentals. Hosts decide what time of day or night to pick up or drop off vehicles and how that happens, how quickly you want to have a turnaround on a reservation. You can even make the decision to accept or deny a reservation, although I highly suggest allowing the auto booking and you'll get more reservations. Delivery is also up to the host, and I did not offer delivery. I just didn't have time for that. Even when Turo allows hosts to charge up to $120 to do it. But I'll tell you, if I had offered delivery, I could have easily doubled, maybe even tripled my revenue. At the very least, I recommend notaries become an approved driver with Turo and have it available as a car rental option. It's better to have this in place when you don't need it than to wait for approval in the midst of a crisis. Plus, there's a lot of fun cars on Turo that you can't rent anywhere else. Treat yourself someday. If you plan on doing your own Turo experiment or you've already begun, please share your thoughts in the comments at the link under this video. I'd love to hear your perspective, and I'd also love links or referrals to people and resources you may have found in the Turo industry that bring value and integrity to the marketplace. And if you'd like to check out my Turo fleet, you'd like to see some of the reviews that I've received, my own Turo profile, I've got links in the blog article, and you can find a link to all of that below this video. Thanks for being here, and thanks for listening.